You're looking at the president and the vice president of the fan club for Scott Larson. Hold on to your pencils with all your questions. You're about to watch the Hashtag Truth with Scott Larson. Don't miss a minute.
Watch it all fall down around you now. Was it ever really worth it? Having your kingdom crumble to the ground because you never had the courage. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to come see some of the best wrestling in the Carolinas? Well, look no further than HWA Live. Stars such as Brino Royce, Primal Rage, Chase Loveless and Chris Hamrick, Brian Thrill, The Wranglers, and Chris Thunder Anderson, and many, many more. Come check out HWA Live. HWA Live has shows every 2 weeks at the Gilkey Community Center, 217 Gilkey School Road, Rutherfordton, North Carolina. Message HWA Live on Facebook for all ticket information. HWA Live will sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. There we go. HWA Live, one of the great sponsors of Hashtag Truth, along with many other shows. And we will be getting to all those shows here shortly and telling you about when they're coming and everything. But ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Hashtag Truth. And tonight I have the owner of Kingdom Championship Wrestling, Nick. And I also have one of his great superstars here, Dominic Stuckey. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing great. I mean,
Doing great.
It's another wonderful night in Georgia.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I've got a podcast buddy who does a really great thing when he talks about each state and what they represent. North Carolina is the see-all, be-all, just anything goes in North Carolina. South Carolina is kind of that, old style wrestling, and then Georgia's where you go to bleed. Is that true?
Not for me personally. I don't go to any state to bleed. At least I hope not.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to start off. Oh, wow, we got somebody right off the bat. Michael Ruff said, glad you are all well, my friends. All right, thank you, Michael, for showing up on YouTube and watching Hashtag Truth. All right, Nick, we're going to start off with you, man. Now, when I first heard your story, I was over on Ron Emerson's podcast, and I was doing a show with him, and he brought you on, and I was just amazed. First of all, at the age of 19, you said you're going to be 19 in April. You own your own show, and you're just everything about you is just awesome. I had to have you on Hashtag Truth, man. Tell us the story of how you became an owner at the age of 19.
Well, it's a weird story, man. One day we were, I do heating and air and some other like fixing stuff for churches and stuff. And this guy used to run wrestling shows, who's a pastor now in Austell. He was like, "Hey, we're selling a wrestling ring," and we were like, "Oh, that's cool, whatever." And the church that I'm with now, we wanted to start doing wrestling shows, and we did one in February of 2022, 2021, and we had like 200 people show up. Nice. It was just in our side parking lot of our church, And so we were like, hey, maybe we can do something with this, And then when we finally got, when we bought the whole thing and we bought the rights to the name of Kingdom Championship Wrestling and all that, we just I got hooked up with some good people, and hey, why not put a show,
Now, I believe you said, and I'm going to catch up real quick. Ben Wolf from See No Evil Wrestling, another great sponsor of my show, said, hello, everyone. Michael Ruff said, purge. Okay. Oh. Don't know what that means, but okay, Mike. Luke Childers said, hey. And Ron Emerson Jr., the guy who hooked us up, said, "What's up, Scott?" And hey, Nick Ring, how you doing? Ron Emerson Jr., guys, if you have never checked him out, go over. He does the Wrestling Wire on his page Thursdays and Sundays. Don't miss it. Go on his page for all the times and details for the show. You don't want to miss that. But so I also remember you saying something on Ron's podcast. You're second generation, Nick, or you had a father in wrestling or something like that?
My uncle,
okay.
Uncle, who I don't know if Dom knows this or not, but my uncle was Chief J Strongbow.
That's it.
And so you know, his son, I guess, I don't know what it is. My uncle's son, he was a wrestler as well, but he, you know, I've learned a lot from them guys, you know, and when Chief passed away, it was like, I don't know, 2004, 2005, I'm not too sure. You know, I was only like 1. So I mean, I didn't know much of him, but you know, I remember these notes and these papers he wrote me about, you know, what he's done. And I've also watched interviews, like, you know, he was in the Cauliflower Club. He was inducted there. And so and then, you know, also just since I was a kid, going to different places and going to different shows and having friends in the back and in the front and wherever, just telling me how to, you know, what the business is like. And
right.
I've been put in a really lucky position.
Is it everything you thought it would be, or have you ran into some problems that weren't told to you and had to learn on the fly? Because that being 19, I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody didn't sit you down and go, okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, you're going to run into this situation. How was it when you started running into those backstage problems, like somebody not showing up or you know?
I tell you what, man, it's been very bumpy. Dom knows a whole lot.
Dom's laughing. I bet he's seen you at your best, hasn't he?
He's seen me at my best. He's seen me at my worst. I mean, you know, I mean, we've ran into stuff, but we've always, the good thing about, you know, having Dom and people who I can talk to is they always have a plan B. If something goes wrong with A, plan B is already in effect, you know.
Okay.
Now, there's been some times where we've had to
go to C, D, E, F, and move on down the line, right? Make it up on the fly. I mean, I've heard of a lot of owner promoters who, you know, did everything they could to schedule a show, put a poster out, but then the day of the show, you know, 3 or 4 wrestlers don't show up, the main event guy doesn't show up, this guy, and you got to throw a show together to put out there because these people have come and paid their good money to see a great wrestling show. And I can imagine. I'll
say one thing about my first show is someone should have slapped me in the head when I tried to book a no DQ match for my first. Wait a minute. You're doing a church show. Is that the first thing that came to their minds? It wasn't much them. It was mostly just like I sat there and I'm like, oh man, I'm real because I'm gonna tell you the first card for the first show before I even met Dom, before I met everything, was totally different from how it showed up. Okay. You know. Dom, yeah. And then, you know, I started getting hooked up with these different people, and they've helped me out a ton, man.
And that's what I love about professional wrestling, man. You know, they see a kid doing his best, they're booking him, you know, you're paying them, they're showing up, you know, and you know, it's good that the wrestlers, you know, the vets and stuff like that get together and, you know, hey, okay, I see you're struggling, you know, let's do this, you know, and then, you know, before you know it, the show's going without a hitch.
Yeah, it's, you know.
Well, I won't say without a hitch because you're probably a nervous wreck, but
it's funny.
It's fun to learn, though. But eventually, I guarantee you, Nick, you're going to get to the point where you're. It's very less and less that you're going to run into a problem that you can't handle. You know
yeah, I mean, there's been times where like Dom's told me, "Hey, Nick, don't do that. That's stupid." You know, that's
It sounds good in your head. It sounds good on paper, but the wrestlers know. The wrestlers know.
That doesn't make sense, you know? So
now, Nick, have you trained in wrestling? Are you a wrestler at all, or did you just by the company?
I mean, I of course want to. I think that'd be
Okay.
great. But I mean, I've done like seminars where I've gone and helped out and I've watched and kind of done stuff. But I mean, I have never been to a school. I've never done like weeks of
And
training.
I'm pretty sure Dominic and all these guys will get together with you if you decide to do that, which would be a great thing. But the one thing that we hate as fans and as people that do podcasts is owners who wear their own belt, their championship belt.
Preach.
Don't do it, sir. Don't do it.
Been told,
Anything but the heavyweight championship.
look, man,
I'm good with.
Absolutely preach on that.
told that. When-
But it's good that you want to learn the wrestling side of it, because then, you know, guys like Dominic and all that will respect you more because they know you understand where they're coming from. When they come to you and say, hey, Dom, that's not a good idea, let me explain this to you, you're going to understand where they're coming from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand. And I've said this to them too. You know, being in it for so long, I mean, it's basically been all my life. I've been doing something with wrestling. I understand that these guys go out and do these crazy things and, you know, they can get hurt, you know, and so that I have a higher respect for wrestlers that, you know, because you never know what's going to happen, you know. And so when I get told, hey, Nick, as a wrestler, I wouldn't do that because this, and this, I'm like, okay, well then let's change it because that's stupid, you know. So
Okay.
I'm just blessed with the people I've been able to learn from, you know.
And that's totally. Now, do you have a sidekick or anybody else who helps you, or do you just go to the show and, like you said, it's a group thing right now?
I mean, Dominic's been pretty steady with helping me, man. I mean, you know,
Okay.
I got Michael Stevens has helped a lot, but I mean, it's mostly just the team of the, you know, my family and who I consider family and those kind of guys. That's just how it's, you know, there's not really there's not a partner thing. It's just everyone, you know, we take everyone.
Have you ever had, now I love that, you know, people do Christian wrestling shows, but for some wrestling and some of the characters that are in wrestling, I have to state that very, you know, clearly, because somebody will get mad. But for some of the wrestlers and some of the characters that they have you ever had anybody come to you and say, hey, that might not be a good character for a Christian show, or that might not be a good, you know, there's some horror characters or some, you know, men who dress as women. And I'm not trying to say it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. Don't send me hate mail, folks, but it's a legit question. You know, have you ever had somebody come to you and go, hey, this is a Christian show, you can't book that guy, or you can't have that, this or that?
100%. I mean, you know, there's been times where I've had to ask people, you know, hey, can you bring another piece of, you know, gear or something, you know, just because whatever. But I want to
maybe female wrestlers coming out, or you know, and being a little too scantily dressed. You know, I can understand
about that a little bit on Ron's podcast. You know, I want to say that we're very loving. We're not very strict at all. I mean,
at the end of the day, you're still a wrestling show. People have to understand they are characters, they are, you know, and things like that. Dominic is looking like he's dying to say something on this.
No, I'm just listening. To Nick's point, it's pretty open, because I mean, it's still wrestling, it's still violence. People get hit. You have guys like Hunter James, who's a blue-eyed blonde who wrestles in trunks. So if any woman's going to get canceled, we got to cancel Hunter too.
Right.
Yeah, but I 100% understood what you said too. Like, you got to know your audience and you got to know your area. So like,
there you go.
I'm not going to go to Alaska and sell ice cubes. That doesn't make sense.
You won't make a lot of money that way anyway.
Exactly. Unless you're very good with promos.
I'll
let Nick continue.
Ron Emerson Jr. added to, hey, Nick, he said, I don't know Dominic, so what's up, bud?
What's up,
Ron? You got to go check this guy out on Facebook or on YouTube. He's got a ton of matches on there, bro. Check him out. I've been watching him for the last hour. He's awesome. Brino Royce. Now, Brino, this is a guy I would love to see go up against Dominic Stuckey one-on-one. That would be a match for the ages. So, Reno, maybe you can hit up Nick and head on down to Georgia and make a match. I would love to see that. Little Donnie said, hey, what's going on, Little Donnie? Luke Childers said, what job have you had since you've been in wrestling? I don't know if he's talking shoot job or if you've had another job in wrestling before you owned the company. I think he's talking to you, Nick.
I can answer, and Dom can answer as well. I currently still do heating and air, refrigeration, and different stuff like that.
So that's your shoot job.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
But have you had any other jobs in wrestling other than just being thrust into ownership?
Straight to the top.
Right? Nothing better than being the owner. I mean, I'm just saying, but like I said, it's very rare to hear 18 and 19 associated with owner. And I'm glad you are, because you're breaking a wall, you're breaking the ceiling, and you're proving that anybody, with a great mind and good help, I'm not just saying anybody, can do this. You're learning every day, just like the wrestlers are learning every day and everything. And that's great. And when I hear you say, this guy's helping me and that guy's helping me, and we come together as a group, and that makes me happy, because I'm a fan first and foremost. And when I hear, man, we're coming together, nothing's going to stop us. If this happens, we got another plan. That makes me happy, because I know if I come and I pay my money, I'm going to see a good wrestling show.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, the shows we've had we've had 2 shows, and the next one is this Sunday. I mean, we've had some incredible matches. We've had great shows, and I'm very excited for Sunday. Honestly, like I can't wait. I mean,
that we're gonna talk about that definitely. Ben Wolf said, Dominic, how long have you been wrestling?
It's 2023, so this is going on my 7th year of wrestling. I started straight out of high school. I saw a Facebook post by one of Nick's friends, Marty, and I showed up, and that's been my life ever since. Going back to the last question, though, I've just been a wrestler. And I ring the bell.
There you go.
That's all I've done in wrestling.
There you go. There you go. I like that answer. Ron Ever said cool heads always prevail. Trust me, I've been the one leaned on in those he was talking about when we were talking about the different characters and all that. Ben Wolf wants to know, Dominic, who trained. Now we're gonna get to wait a minute before we get to all these questions. We're gonna go to a commercial break, and then when we get back, we're gonna hit Dominic with a bunch.
I won't forget you, Ben. I won't forget you.
No. I will definitely go back to that question. That'll be my first. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do a new thing here on #True starting today. Every Friday show that I have, instead of doing regular commercials, we're going to make Friday nights promo night. So all my sponsors who have wrestlers that do promos for their show, we're going to show promos for that show, because, hey, what better way to get to learn the wrestler and who they're fighting and why they're fighting and why you're going to pay your money to go see a show than to watch a promo. Yeah. So let's start it off with NAWA. This is AJ Frost versus Dre White. You're going to check this out. They're going to tell the story, the whole 9 yards. Sit back for a minute or two and check this out. The show is March 25th. We're going to go over all the posters, dates, and times at the end of the show, but we'll be right back after this, and we're going to talk to Dominic Stuckey for a little while. We'll be right back.
1 minute, I'm on top of the world.
How you want to dress, Mr. Frost?
Well, the only thing I got to say to AJ Frost, he's nothing but a big cheater. The last time I faced him, he cheated me, brung all his clowns with him. I got something planned for AJ Frost.
And AJ Frost just eliminated Big Nasty. He thinks he's going to win the Bunkhouse Stampede. Dre White has just tossed AJ Frost over the top. And AJ Frost is in disbelief. AJ Frost can't believe it. He can't believe he just got eliminated by Dre White.
I get to challenge for any title in the NAWA, and I'm going to challenge AJ Frost right now for the NAWA television title, baby!
Big Nasty is throwing AJ AJ Frost back into the ring. Dre White's on the top rope, crossbody block. 1, 2, 3. We got a new NAWA TV champion.
And the next, I'm standing here before you looking at a rematch for my belt. The belt that you took from me, that you stole from me, Dre White. I was the winner when all of a sudden, there you was. And there I went over the top.
I outsmarted 30 other competitors to win the bunkhouse, to get the opportunity to cash in for any championship title in NAWA. And I got that tier, that scallywag, AJ Frost. 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring to become the new NAWA television champion. Now, AJ's been crying to the front office. He's been crying to his management. They've reached out to the promotion. He's whining and crying, and he's cried his way into a rematch.
I see you everywhere with my belt. I see you smiling big and holding it up on your shoulder, and that's exactly what you need to do. On March the 25th, you are gonna need to be more sensational than ever.
So on March 25th, I want you all to come out to the Burke County Fairgrounds because I'm gonna once again outsmart AJ Frost and retain the NAWA television title.
Because the AJ Frost that's all fun and games and all jokes, he ain't showing up. I'm showing up. The ex-champ, the soon-to-be new champ is showing up at the Burke County Fairgrounds on March the 25th. I'm coming, and I'm gonna take my belt back.
On the 25th, come out to the Burke County Fairgrounds and witness AJ Frost get defrosted once and for all.
Dre White, this is where I get my redemption.
There you go. Burke County Fairgrounds. AJ Frost trying to get his NAWA TV title back from the new champion, Dre White. That's going to be an exciting show. All right, Dominic, I promised you right off the break, we go right back to that comment and that question. Dominic, who trained you, sir?
I'm so glad you put it back up because, Ben, I apologize. I did forget. So, for one, in just wrestling in general, you never stop learning. You never really stop training.
Right.
So I've had a lot of unofficial teachers. Now, my first head trainer, like family to me, is Iceberg, who's a legend here in Georgia, former NWA, former TNA, former Japan star. Then I went on to train with Luke Gallows at the Good Brothers Dojo. Then I trained with Micah Taylor at the Underground, which was also here in Georgia. So a lot of great trainers in Georgia, a lot of TV experienced guys that I've been lucky enough to be around.
And that will show because we're going to be, again, going over a match of yours in just a few minutes. So you will definitely see that. And Ron Emerson said the same thing I said before. Owner of a promotion is cool. Just don't book yourself as the champion.
Exactly.
It's always like that. Now, Dominic, tell me about the first time you met Nick up here and realized that, you know, and he told you, hey, I'm the owner. What was your first thoughts? Be honest. What was your first thoughts?
Well, I don't remember too many Facebook messages, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because
okay.
he messaged my Facebook, but he messaged the one I never replied to. So
right.
Like it's in like an automated
I found that
message.
out the hard way too. I found that out the hard way too, and trying to get you on the show.
Yeah, and I apologize, but like I'm so bad with the internet. Like I'm the worst millennial there ever was. So like I saw that I kept getting messages, but it wouldn't let me reply. So I was like, you know, it's good, whatever. It doesn't bother me. And then another wrestler hit me up and they're like, hey, so we're supposed to be wrestling on New Year's Eve. And I was like, that's funny. I just wrestled on Christmas. They're going to take both of my holidays? So that's how I knew Nick was the owner.
That's the life of a wrestler, though, man. That's the life of a wrestler.
Oh, no, Nick let me out early. I I got to go home, enjoy my friends. Count down.
The funny thing is that like now this is gonna make Dom cringe or something, but I remember going to like Barnesville and seeing him, in the camo jeans and his start. I've known Dominic as the wrestler for a long time, but there's nothing better than sitting and talking and actually knowing the person, So, but yeah,
of course.
I remember those camo jeans, man.
They don't make me cringe. On special occasions, I still whip them out.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. So Dominic, who was your first match with, man? And tell me about your first time coming through the curtain, man. I always love hearing that story from every wrestler.
So my first match was actually a battle royal, and like the issue with battle royals is that you go in there, and I don't know if you ever seen like The Office, but they're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. You go in there and you don't know what to do with your hands. Because everybody says punch people, but the more people you punch, normally that's more people that are trying to punch you. And that strategy did not work out very well in Battle Royale. I think I lasted like 3 whole minutes. And it was a 2-hour drive the last 3 minutes. And I was like, you know what? At least I had a minute per hour. At least I had a minute per hour. That's a good ratio.
Hey, but you got your name out there. People got to see you, though. That to me, that's the main point.
Well, the issue is I didn't get my name out there.
Oh.
So like in the battle royal, for one, I didn't have dreads.
Okay.
I didn't even have the camo jeans that Nick remembers me with, and those were like some of my first pair of wrestling gear. And I didn't even have the name Dominic Stuckey. Like so.
So what was your first name? Just out of curiosity.
It was Dominic Demento, because I'm a huge Undertaker fan, and Damian Demento wrestled Undertaker in the first main event of Monday Night Raw. So I was like, I'm going to be Dominic Demento. And then that lasted like 4 shows, and then this promoter told me that was stupid. So he was like, what's your real name? I was like, Dominic Stuckey, and it has been that ever since. Never got to change it.
Good deal. I like it, man. It punches at you when you read it. Dominic Stuckey, I like it.
I hope it's just straightforward that people don't have to like stress too hard when they Google me. Like, how do you spell stuck?
Oh gosh. Strawby Stones. Yes, another great podcaster out there. Go check him out on YouTube. He said, Yizzo. Crystal Hudson, owner and promoter of New Millennium Championship Wrestling, said, what's up, everybody? Really missing my wrestling family.
Hey,
we
Crystal.
miss you too, Crystal. Without a doubt. Of course, Ben Wolf, you guys know he's an owner and promoter. We got all kinds of them coming in and out of #Truth, and I'm loving it. Of course, Nick over here, owner promoter. So, but anyway, we're just a few minutes away from going into your match, but I want to ask you this, man, because I'm watching you. Like I said, I was watching you earlier today for like an hour, and I've realized that you've done a lot of work, man. You've done a lot of work because some wrestlers don't understand when they get in. First of all, they don't understand ring psychology and where to be set, especially if there's a hard cam and things like that. You have no problem with that. I've noticed that in your matches that you know exactly where to be, what angle to be at. You're always to where somebody can tell what you're doing and nobody has to move a camera or anything. You'll see what I'm talking about when we watch the match. That's a hard thing to learn. Who taught you? Who was the first one that taught you about the hard cam and, understanding where to be in a ring?
Probably all of my trainers, to be honest with you, because like I said, Iceberg was with the original OG days of TNA. Gallows has been WWE, Impact, AEW, New Japan, and Micah Taylor was originally in the WWE developmental. So everybody that I ever trained with, we used to have to train with hard cam. Like all the trainers would be sitting on one side and you have to work towards them. So that's just been something that's just naturally ingrained. Well, I'm not even going to say ingrained. It's been burned into my mind that you work for hard cam.
And that is totally cool. So I got a couple more questions before we start watching the match. Number one, your training regimen. How many times a week do you go and train, or do you show up to shows early? How do you get your training in?
So a lot of promoters are going to hate to hear this. I do not show up to shows early. A
Okay.
lot of shows I drive to are like 3 or 4 hours away.
Okay, so you travel to a lot of your shows.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So I normally hit the gym about 4 or 5 times a week. That's just for weightlifting. I used to be a personal trainer, so I enjoy weightlifting.
Okay.
I try and get in a couple of sessions of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu throughout the week too, whenever I can. I bought my own punching bag so I can practice boxing and striking. And whenever I can get in a ring, I just love being in a ring. Plus,
We got a fan, Missy Childers. She goes, she was hearing that. She goes, I love you. That's awesome.
I love you too, Missy. I love you too. But I'm always doing something. If I can, I'm always doing something. And then one of the more important parts of training that people sometimes forget is I watch my own matches and then I watch matches of my peers. So that way I know what everybody's doing. I know what's hot in the business. I know what's not in the business. I try and stay updated.
You know the moves that they like to perform before you even get there. You know, when you walk up, a lot of people don't understand that when you get there and you don't know anything about your opponent, that's one of the first things. What do you want to get in? That's one of the questions I always hear wrestlers say, that they talk to other wrestlers. But if you do what you said and you watch them in some of their matches, you can walk up and instead of saying, hey, you know, what do you want to do? Say, hey, I know you like this spot. Why don't we do it here? Why don't we? And you guys, it takes no time at all to get your match together.
Well, sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes it's a lot more like just, hey, my name is Dom, and we're going to punch each other in the face. And then it's just having to feel each other.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. Going out and just calling a match in the ring. There's nothing wrong with that either.
I love it, man. I love it.
And I attest that to all my trainers being over 40. So
I can see Dominic right now walking into a training session. How old are you? 35. Not, you're too young. I need another one. How old are you?
I wouldn't call any of them young bucks. Not at all.
There you go. I gotcha. Luke Childers said no for some reason. I don't know what he's saying. What you saying no to, Luke? He's a big fan of the show. I have no idea what he's saying no to, but we'll find out later. All right, guys, we're going to hit a promo real quick, and then outside on the other side of the promo, we are going to watch Dominic Stuckey in one of his matches. We're all going to watch it together and have a good time. So let's go ahead and we're going to do one that's just a little bit shorter than the last one. The last one was pretty long, but it told the whole story. I liked it because it had a WWE flair to it. It told the whole story.
I want to actually go see that match now. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. NAWA does a fantastic job promoting their guys, man. That is somebody you should watch and try to implement that into your show without a doubt, man. I don't know how you do your stuff, but that I'm telling you, Mr. Elliott, who runs NAWA, has got it going on, man, without a doubt. But we're gonna switch gears over to See No Evil. They have got a great show coming up, and it's gonna be tomorrow night. And they have their main event is gonna be a death match, a 3-way death match. And here's one of the participants talking about that death match. We'll be right back on the other side, and we're gonna watch Dominic Stuckey do some wrestling. We'll be right back.
On March 18th, See No Evil Wrestling is coming back in Lincolnton, North Carolina. It's going to be an amazing show. But the main event is where it counts. Because in the main event, you got myself, Will Bannon, you got Lazarus Black, and you got Raven Havoc. And not just any triple threat match. Not just any triple threat match for the True Grit Championship. This is a triple threat match for the True Grit Championship and a triple threat death match. The death match is why I'm here. The death match is why Lazarus and Raven Havoc are here. Us three have been working our asses off for a long, long time. And on March 18th, we're going to show everybody, we're going to show every single person why we do what we do. It's going to be an epic match. It's going to be a bloody match. It's going to be a painful match. It is going to be pure, beautiful hell. So, see no evil management. Have the ambulances ready. Have the medikits ready. Because we're going into this. And we're not coming out till we're full of blood. March 18th. See No Evil Wrestling presents the death match. I love you guys. Laz, Raven, I really do. I'll see you in hell.
There you go. It's going to be a death match at See No Evil for the main event. You're not going to want to miss this. I've already interviewed these guys. They are out for blood. That's going to be one bloody match from start to end. You're not going to want to miss it. But ladies and gentlemen, let's not wait any longer. Let's check this out. Here we go. We're going to watch Dominic Stuckey wrestle against, now I'm going to shred this name again, Big Boss Shimizu. Say it again, Dominic.
Shimizu, Big Boss
Shimizu. See, I told you. I just totally. Shimizu. And this is an awesome match. We're not going to play the sound because I don't want any copyright infringements or anything, but we're going to watch it. We're going to talk about it during the match. So let's go ahead and play it. There we go. And man, let me tell you, great crowd there. I love that.
Well, if you would have showed the interest, you would have seen me fist bump Nick. So I'm happy that Nick's spot got cut.
Yeah, unfortunately it did. Yeah, I wanted to get straight into the wrestling, but I did see that. I was gonna
say this match in person was wild, man. I mean, it was probably one of the best ones I've seen in person in a while. You know, it was pretty good, man.
These two go at it without a doubt, man. Two big guys. You got some size to you, Dominic. You got the agility and things like that, but you got some size. You're not a small guy.
Oh, I've always been sizable. Like when I graduated from high school as a senior, I weighed 138 pounds. But during the pandemic, all I did was do push-ups and sit-ups and drink juice. So I got a little bit of weight on me. Even though I still wasn't as big as Shimizu. Shimizu is he's about an inch shorter than I am, but he's about 40 pounds heavier than me.
Yeah, that's a big guy right there.
Oh yeah. You're telling me, well, that Dom kept making the mistake of, trying to lock up with a bigger guy. But I'm a problem solver.
I was about to say there's more than one way to skin a cat. You're about to show it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to find a weakness in your opponent, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, you got to measure them up, you got to size them up, and then sometimes you got to bait them into it. Especially too, the good thing is this is Griffin, which is about 30-ish minutes from where I live. So there's a lot of people from the town that I stay in, there to support me. And it's weird because when you see people that you know, like know supporting you, doing what you love, you feel a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter.
Oh yeah, there's more adrenaline in a match like that.
Oh well, Dominic just climbed the ropes. He bypasses. He dropped down. Big leapfrog. He turns around. What's he gonna do? Oh, it's a shoulder tackle by Shimizu. Oh, that is a big shoulder tackle. That is one.
I love what he's called his own match. I love this.
Well, I mean, I didn't know what else to do, so that was a shoulder tackle that the NFL will definitely look into. Clothesline.
Oh!
Single knee face breaker. I learned that from Jimmy Wang Yang. He was there that night. Shimizu with the miss. Shimizu misses. Roll through, no cover, kick to the head. You can't see me.
I can listen to this all day, man. Like
right,
I'm just watching.
For all you promoters and owners out there, if you don't hire him to wrestle, put him in front of the microphone.
Definitely don't hire me for decision making because I go for a bad crossbody. Ooh, that was a big splash. 2. That was a tough 2. That was a tough 2.
That hurt. You can see it in your face. That was painful.
I guess I should say that was a tough knee because in Japanese, 2 is knee. I learned that day.
I got you.
I'm gonna tell you the shaking, man. Like it was wild seeing these two go back and forth on the ropes. I mean, it was crazy.
And Shimizu, so you said I was agile, but I had size. Shimizu has size, but he's extremely agile.
Right.
And you can see he's just smushing me in the corner. Like,
what's he gonna do the third time?
Well, this is where Shimizu's messing up. He's spending too much time playing to the crowd. You got to keep your eye on Dominic Stuckey. He caught the foot. He threw me away. But see, now I caught him. I caught him just like a Pokemon. Sunset flip. Just like 8 Sunset flip 8 p.m. It's not going for me. I reach through, leg lock, figure 4, Dama Ric Flair. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Transition, man. That was cool. That move alone was worth the price of admission.
Thank you. It's a lot of training It's a lot of training, a lot of other backgrounds, not just wrestling. And Shimizu had huge legs, so it took a lot of strength just to lock it in. But this is where Stuckey messes up. You can never let them reverse the figure 4. That's a lot of pressure on the back of the knees. Especially since I had a sprained MCL leading into the match.
No!
If I was in the NBA, I'd be out for 8 weeks after this figure 4.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me. You talk about NBA. My favorite player. I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan. Giannis barely hit his wrist on a slam, and he was out for 3 days. I'm like, come on, bro.
It shows you how fragile the human body is and how stupid every wrestler is because I choose to be crushed.
There you go. Hey, but when you fight hurt, that shows heart to us fans.
Well, see, there's Shimizu crushing my heart.
Yeah.
He was really good at making a s'more out of me.
Oh, wait a minute. Roll over.
There's the agility. There's the speed. There's the vertical leap. Oh, the Samoan drop that hurt my shoulder really bad. I kick out at 2, but as you can see from the air that I got on that, I could have dunked it. And Shimizu's lucky that he didn't end up on a poster. Because I could have went full-blown Giannis Antetokounmpo with that one.
I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to let him do the whole match. I love this. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I know what he's doing Sunday.
Ooh, strikes. But Shimizu took his eye off the ball, and bam, welcome to America. That is a straight American Airlines flight forearm. Boom. Oh. Welcome to the big boss. Welcome to Japan. Pointing at the hard cam. Always show love. Oh. Knocking heads, knocking forearms, hitting something. And that is a lot of something getting hit. That is 240 pounds.
This right here is cool. This right here is cool.
Duck under. Melee. Nip up because I'm the heartbreak kid. Even though I took my eye off of the ball, got turned inside out like the tornado that took Dorothy to the yellow brick road. 1, 2. I wasn't a math teacher. I don't know how to get to 3. There we go. Big kick out.
Hey, I got going back to that shoulder tackle a little bit ago. One of the nicknames Dom had was Dom Cena. So that little shoulder tackle.
Dom Cena, there you go.
I have a lot of Dom-based nicknames. Dom Cena, Dom Brady, LaDom James. I busted out
LaDom James. I love it. I noticed that on your YouTube page, too, that every time you put your name underneath a video, it's never the same.
I get bored. I get very bored. This is where I made a mistake, though, because I'm exchanging strikes with a guy who does 200 push-ups a day, 4 times a day. So forearms much bigger. He is knocking me loopy. But
he is only like probably 40 or 60 pounds from being a sumo wrestler.
Look at that.
I mean,
exactly.
Nice.
If you come down to Georgia, you're going to get a big box slam. That's just the rules. That's just the rules. I just hate that it took so much energy out of me.
But you got the cover.
2. If I could have hooked the leg right there, that's really the difference. If I could have got a little bit of pressure, and you can see it on my face. I mean, I respect every kick out that he has, but
Yeah.
I would
You
have liked
got
it a
the
lot
face
better.
of, okay, what do I have to do to take this guy down? Oh, replay too.
And,
Look at
yeah,
that.
and
Oh,
it's a good it's a good move when you get the instant replay.
right?
Yeah, you're not a star if you can't get
Not
hits.
many shows do that. That was amazing. I like that.
He was too big to hit the finisher on. Next time though.
Two
See,
misses.
He thought he got me.
Oh.
He thought he got me, but I scouted it. You can't get hit with the Samoan twice, but I could not keep him down.
Oh, but he got mad. Oh, big
Well,
kick. Bushido
doesn't mean a lot when you
super
got
kick to the
feet.
face.
And these are my forearms.
Big forearms. It doesn't look like. Oh, the knee finally got him to move.
He got it. Dom Cena.
Cena.
Oh, yes, sir.
The
attitude adjustment.
Exactly. He had a fighting spirit, so I had to give him an attitude adjustment for his bad behavior.
Oh my goodness.
I just hate that I threw him so far. That ring looks small, but like you throw him 4 feet after you have 250 pounds on your back. That's a lot. That's
a powerful toss.
Yeah, and plus you got to think about I've been getting my butt kicked for half of these.
Oh, look at that. Big guy comes in and says, these boys slapping meat.
Yeah, Shane Davis quoting Big E, a fellow Floridian, big meaty men slapping meat. This is where I'm comfortable at, though. Like I'm a second rope, top rope guy. I'm not going to do a lot of springboards, but this is where I was really comfortable at. And Shimizu being a big guy, I felt like I had the advantage here, but he knocked me off just barely.
He got that elbow look like to your nose when he spun around. You inadvertently got you in the nose. Going
People
up top.
People don't understand. A hit to your nose, that's the knockout. That's how Rocky won most of his fights. And he crushed him for one last time.
Oh, but what a match. Let me tell you.
Yeah. And he was just as beat up after as I was.
Right?
Like that was tough.
That big man. Okay, I've got to go back one more time. Watch this big man fly. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Just rewatching the replay. We were watching the replay as me just as tired as I was that night. And that was a couple weeks ago.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, man,
yeah, I got it. And then he falls over dead. Look.
Wild, man. I mean, the crowd was crazy. It was such a good show, man. That match was ridiculous.
It was, man. Sorry you lost the match, but man, you were strong through the whole thing. I mean, like you said, you scouted your opponent. There were some moves that he normally did that you had reversals for, but in the end, just a little too much. That top rope, I mean, 240 plus pounds landing on top of you. It's hard to ask anybody to kick out from that.
And gravity's never been my best friend, so I mean, the way I see it, you lose some, you win some. As long as the outcome is income, everything is fine. So like,
I love that. As long as the outcome is income, I'm going to use that, sir.
That wasn't me. That was a rap lyric. That was a Big Sean, I think. So
that's okay. I'm still going to borrow it. That was good.
But like, it's a learning. Everything in wrestling is a learning experience because like my ultimate goal is WWE, and then when you get to WWE, being WWE champion. So it's every little thing, every loss matters. Honestly, at this point in my career, when I watch my matches, it's every step, every punch that's thrown. How was I breathing? Did I look tired? All those things are important because when you see guys on TV being a true, legitimate star, how do they handle the moment? And Shimizu was a big opportunity to see how I handle moments. Like he was a wonderful opportunity, and that was his first time in America, and I was just happy that
and
I got to be a part of it.
And he's not an American wrestler, Japanese, and you could tell he had the style of some of the Japanese wrestlers, so that gives you a heads up of what to expect if you ever go over there.
I could feel he had the stripes of some Japanese wrestler. My head was ringing a little bit. And it was funny too because I speak a little Spanish, I speak a little German, no Japanese, and he didn't speak any English. So like we just shake hands, and we bowed after the match. We bowed. We gave each other a hug. I gave him my I Promise wristband, which is a big thing to me. I've had it for years. It's just I promise to myself that I'm going to constantly get better each time. And I
Right.
gave it to him because it was white and red, and that's the color of the Japanese flag. So hopefully that's something that he gets to carry with him.
Yeah,
So
man.
next time we wrestle, and then I'll take it back.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, I did notice a few moves in there that were Kofi Kingston like. Are you a New Day fan?
I've met all the members of the New Day. I just never met them together. So
Okay.
I'm a fan of good wrestling and good wrestlers. So anybody you consider a good wrestler, I will do my best to kind of emulate something that they do, to try my best to see what works. And Kofi's a former WWE champion, a recent WWE champion, because people
Right.
forget the pandemic warped time, but he was WWE champion within the last 4 years. So he's a guy that I look to emulate. Nick hit it. John Cena is a guy that
John
I
Cena,
look to
right?
emulate.
He came back just recently. He's going to be at WrestleMania, and the promo he did.
Austin
I'm a big promo guy. If you haven't noticed,
man.
I love promos.
Well,
So
fun fact, he's wrestling Austin Theory, and I've known Austin Theory since middle school.
Austin Theory is a boy.
wow.
I've known Austin for a while too, meeting him at wrestling.
Well, Nick knows we've been on shows together.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you've
we
had
used
a
to-
couple matches with him, maybe at least one.
We've never wrestled officially. We've wrestled at training before, which was a pain in Luke Gallows' butt because we're both very competitive, and when you're in a room with 15, 20 people, Theory, you can see Theory is a machine. Theory doesn't stop. And me, I don't like to lose. I don't care if you're a future WWE superstar, a WWE legend. You could be Ric Flair, John Cena, Bruno Sammartino. It didn't matter to me.
Right.
1v1, you're gonna have to beat me in overtime. You're not beating me. You're not beating me.
I like
during
that,
regulation.
man. I like. See, that's the wrestlers I want to come see. I want both wrestlers to have that attitude.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, man. Dom is. I can't say any more good stuff about Dom. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, he's just dude. I'm gonna tell you, and I know he hates this. I know he absolutely hates this. He's just one of the best guys I could have hooked up with. I mean, It's just I've watched him, like I said, go up from Barnesville to wherever to then fighting a guy from Dragon Gate. Like that's huge, man.
Right.
And so yeah.
Well, let me say negative Dom things. I'm not 6 foot tall. I'm not 200 pounds. Everybody,
neither is Rey Mysterio, but look where he's at, brother.
But even Rey has a better Dominic. So, everybody that I've wrestled that is signed to a contract, I've lost to, and I've got to wrestle a lot of great wrestlers. Like I've wrestled this guy named Tristan Ty from MLW. Tristan, if you haven't met him, he is a phenomenal wrestler. He's another great striker, and that's one of the weaknesses in my game. That wrestling guys like Tristan or Shimizu, there's not a lot of great strikers in Georgia that I face off against a lot.
Okay.
In Georgia, it's big southern move, big southern move, big southern move. So it's like, all right, I'm tougher than you. My back's not going to break. I can survive. But when you wrestle these guys from all around the country, these are knockout artists that Shimizu hits hard, Tristan Ty hits hard, Chip Day here in Georgia hits hard, Joe Black here in Georgia. Joe probably hits hard and probably takes a hit better than anybody. He's the only guy that could like get hit by a truck and just walk it off calmly.
Okay, then, we're gonna do something here because we got a little over 5 minutes left. We're gonna do something at Hashtag Truth. We have not done this segment in a long time, but I want to do it with Dominic Stuckey. I want to do it with him, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I know all the old school people who watch Hashtag Truth used to love this segment. We're going to play Name Drop with Dominic Stuckey.
Okay.
We're going to play Name Drop. Dominic, I'm going to give you 5 names. 5 names. And I want you to tell me, friend, foe, give me a story. Tell me you hate them. I don't care what it is. I'm going to give you 5 names.
I knew the names going into this. All right, let's go.
The first name that I'm gonna drop on you is Ash Bennett.
Oh.
I'm a fan of Ash. Ash and I have wrestled a lot, and I'm a fan of him because I keep beating him. So I like Ash, but Ash is legit one of like the best younger wrestlers coming up in Georgia. And it's funny because I'm 25, but I've been wrestling for 7 years, and I can say young guys. But Ash is great. All of A4 is great. Next.
Yeah.
Now, you wrestled a guy at one of my favorite promotions. It was one of my favorite promotions back in the 80s when it was on TV, and you wrestled this guy, and he is a homegrown North Carolina guy. I want to hear something about Tracer X. You wrestled him. You wrestled him at Continental Championship Wrestling.
Whoa.
So fun story about Tracer X. So my family didn't come and watch me wrestle for my first few years of wrestling. Unfortunately, at the time, before I wrestled Tracer X, my grandmother, she was passing away. My match with Tracer X is the first match that my family saw me wrestle at live. So that meant a lot to me.
I'm not sure.
You probably were there. The unfortunate part about the Tracer X, that was my first big wrestling injury because I broke 2 ribs in that match.
Oh, snap.
But if I ever see Tracer again, I love to get a finish to that match because we tied. And I don't like to tie. So Tracer, if you're watching, hopefully you're watching because this is a great show. Let's do it again. I'm a little bit older. I'm a little bit better.
I haven't heard him in forever, man. Oh.
I love Tracer X. I've seen him many times here in North Carolina. I live in South Carolina, but I'm just across the border. So I go to North Carolina for most of my shows when I go to the shows. All right, name number 3. You had a championship match against this gentleman, Skrilla the Great.
Oh, man.
So another funny story. 2019, me, Skrilla, a guy who can't be named, and another dude named D Money. We were at this show called Dragon Con, which is one of the biggest shows of the year. And we had what a lot of people in Georgia wrestling considered the worst match of the year. And part of the review, and Larry, I love Larry Goodman because Larry Goodman always tells the truth. At least I feel like he tells the truth to me. A lot of the writers do. Larry's like the only bright spot of that match was Dominic Stuckey, and I hated it because if I'm a great wrestler, but I'm in the worst match there is, I'm not a great wrestler. And I used that to like train for a while. I wish I had it still. I even had a T-shirt where it says like this is one of the worst matches. Like just so I would go to training in that T-shirt. But that's how I look at wrestling. Is like I look at it, I take it serious.
But you use it as motivation.
Motivation, like it's not people hating on me because I think a lot of people take criticism like, oh, they're hating on me or they're sleeping on me. Odds are people aren't sleeping on you. They watch their match. Sometimes you just need to get better. Everybody can be better at everything. Exactly. And I think some people just get complacent. So Skrilla is a guy that I beat before. Is a guy that's beat me before. We've never had a definitive finish to a match. So when we get a chance to see who really is the best man between Skrilla the Great and the Hitmaker, it's probably going to be Dominic Stuckey. Let's just be honest.
Oh, okay. I got you. Name number 4 on this list, Micah Taylor.
Oh, can I get a different name? Because Micah's like one of my trainers, so I feel like I can't.
Oh, come on now. Friend, give us a story. Come on.
Micah, so, all right, you want to hear a good Micah story?
Okay.
When Micah first moved to Georgia and he became one of the trainers, Micah would not talk to me for like 2 months.
Okay.
And like he would come to training, we'd shake hands. He would just constantly bust my butt nonstop at training. And I liked it because I'm going to get better. Like the only way to get better is for people to tell you what you're bad at. And
right.
But like I could not be involved in a situation, like completely away from the situation. And Micah would bust my butt for it. And then one day Micah comes into training and like Mike is a big guy. You've seen him in video. And he pats me on the back. And he was like, Dom, you're not the piece of crap I thought you were. And he apologized to me. He shakes my hand. And he was like, I came in hating you. I don't hate you anymore. I was like, well, thank you, Micah. It scared the life out of me because he's a big guy and I'm in a seated position. So if he decides to like just start beating me up, I'm just beat up. So that's a good Micah story. And Micah, the kick that I did to Shimizu when I went out of the ropes, schoolboy and kick to the head, you talking about it was a Kofi Kingston experience. That's actually a Micah Taylor move. I call it the Taylor experience. Micah used to do it when he was in Deep South and just all around Alabama. Like I said, I researched people. So when I was researching Micah, I saw something I could steal. So now the internet knows that I robbed Micah Taylor.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, the last one on the list, and this is a good friend of mine. Used to wrestle in California, moved over to Atlanta, GA, and he wrestles here. Marcus Erics is name number 5.
I like Marcus. So I won a promo tournament. I won a promo tournament, and Marcus was like one of the judges, and he was like, "You're really good at promos." I was like, "Thank you." Only reason I'm good at promos is because I'm a really mean, jerky person, terrible person, top 10 worst people all time. So like, I have a lot of mean things to say, like you're ugly and you smell bad. And Marcus and I wrestled one time in Alabama, but he got hurt when we were supposed to do a rematch because Marcus, you still owe me a rematch. You cheated. Not to say you're a cheater, but you did cheat.
I got you.
And I just feel like I don't think he's been avoiding me, but
did you get his famous move where he jumps off the corner and hits you in the back with his forearm?
With the European, yeah. I took it, and guess what? I kicked out it too. I survived.
Oh, okay.
I'm here cool. On your podcast to tell the story.
That's cool. There you go. See, that is totally awesome. I thank you for playing along with that, man. That was pretty cool. I loved hearing wrestling stories, and you're doing great. Nick, you found a great guy in this guy. You need to put a belt on this one. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you haven't heard it already, I'm just gonna tell you.
I've heard it from a lot of people. Let me tell you. So.
All right, so we're at the point of the show where Nick, I'm gonna let you promote your show. Let me see if I can pull up a poster here. Do we have a poster?
I think I sent you one. I'm pretty sure I sent you one.
Let me see. You probably did, and I
Dom
didn't
knows I'm bad at it.
but I'm gonna upload it right now, and it's only gonna take a second. I promise you.
Do.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Hit it, boy.
There it is. March 19th, the Austin Theater in Fort Valley, Georgia. Man, it's going to be a great night of action, man. I just, the matches we got are going to be awesome. You know, the one match I do want to say is for the Georgia Zero Limits Championship. You know, it's a fatal 4-way. You know, we got Aaron Dallas, we got a guy named Ragnarok. I mean, it's DJ Smoke and Brother Azrael. I mean, these guys are hard hitting guys, man, and I'm excited to see who comes out as the new Georgia Zero Limits champion. You know, and
Nick, tag me in.
Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
All right. So you got the big man Logan Ragnarok. You can see him in the top left corner. You got Aaron Dallas, one of the hardest working young wrestlers in the state today. You got Logan Stevens, one of the greatest guys that you can know in the back. You got Cosmo Martinez. You got Najicism for the PCW championship. PCW, another great promotion in Georgia.
Yep.
You got the NWA Sauronaro. You got Michael Stevens, perennial guy that gets beat up on TV. You got the DOS Wonder Kid, Hunter James. You got some guy named Dominic Stuckey in a picture from like 4 years ago.
He kind of
sucks.
Tom
Marciano. You got Edible Eddie Honcho, but please do not bite him at the show. You got the Ash Bennett. Got to catch them all. You got DJ Smoke, and you got Brandon Watley representing Pro South Wrestling in Alabama. He's the Pro South Heavyweight Champion. Another good wrestler, terrible person. But,
man. Dominic's even better at promoting.
Dominic needs a job working for you, Nick. I'm just saying.
Do you want the promotion, Dom?
No. I just want to show up and drop elbows.
But man, I'm telling you, you are a jack of all trades, man. I'm telling you, you are a salesman, you are a promoter, you're a commentator, wow, good stuff, man, without a doubt. So, since we're here, Dominic, tell all the promoters, owners and promoters how they can get a hold of you on social media or anywhere else to get you to a show, man.
Facebook that works.
So
Facebook that works, yeah.
So the truth is, you probably will never catch me on a Facebook that works. Just do Dominic Stuckey, or basically all my social medias, they call me Dom. Even though, Scott, one thing, I normally don't promote myself whenever it comes to any podcast. Going back to some of the guys on the roster, Ash, DJ, Azriel, Aaron, Brandon, if you're a promoter, try and book these guys because these are a lot of good wrestlers. Same thing with Sal and Marv, two of the most respected veterans in the state of Georgia.
Eddie's a great guy too.
I'm not gonna put over Eddie until Eddie pays me my $5 back. I'm not giving Eddie anything.
Oh, snap.
And then there's a lot of great promotions here in Georgia wrestling too. So I hope a lot of people have the opportunity to not just come out to KCW Sunday. Make sure you come out to KCW Sunday, but support all of indie wrestling because you never know who's going to be the next Austin Theory or Gigi Dolan or Aja Pereira, who are all three very recent Georgia wrestling stars that are now working for the biggest company in the world. So just support the brothers and the sisters.
I got you, man. So I'm going to go ahead and stick around, guys, for just a second. We're going to end the show like this, man. First of all, Dominic Stuckey, I know he ain't going to, sit here and talk about himself. He said he's not going to, but he's a man with an X on his back. Just saying. He's a man with an X on his back. People are coming for Dominic Stuckey. I saw that picture and I had to, man. I was like, oh, my goodness.
That's my original trainer's logo. I actually have that as a tattoo as well.
Iceberg. Oh, there you go. That is cool. So there you go. I got it on the show. I didn't even know what it was. And
Shawn Michaels used to say, don't hunt what you can't kill. So the only thing I would say to wrestlers is, you're not chasing me. I'm just running backwards.
Oh.
To be honest with you.
I love it.
To be honest with you, I would love to see everybody succeed, everybody be great. But going back to the NBA, don't think you're Steph Curry and start taking shots at Dominic Stuckey.
Seth Curry. Oh man, come on, man. That hurts my heart. That hurts my heart. They just beat my Bucks the other night. That hurts my heart, bro.
still LaDom James. Don't just take shots. Don't just take shots.
Oh.
I got you, man.
I don't have a cool name.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and do all my sponsors, and then we're going to say goodbye to Nick and Dominic. You guys have been great. Stick around so we can do the outro. First of all, XCW, unfortunately, one of my sponsors, they had to postpone their April 1st show due to some issues that have came up. But when they get the information to me about the new dates, time, place, and all that for New Beginnings, they will definitely get it to me. So without a doubt, we'll have that going on. NAWA, Saturday, March 25th. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be at the Burke County Fairgrounds, 145 Bow Street, Morganton, North Carolina. You see the main event. It's going to be a Burke County street fight. Big Donnie versus Chris Thunder Anderson. Also, there's been a change. You know those dreadful words, card subject to change. Well, Luke Fury is going to be facing one Cooper Housley on the 25th. The Zay Vega and Luke Fury match has been moved to April, and they will give you all the information at NAWA and on #Truth when I get it. Also, Pro Wrestling Union Junior Heavyweight Championship Tournament is going to be April 29th at the Union County Recreation Center, 115 Thomas Street, Union, South Carolina. Doors open at 6, bell times at 7. One of these 8 men are going to be the inaugural Junior Heavyweight Champion for Pro Wrestling Union. And see no evil tomorrow night. Got 2 matches announced. There's going to be a whole card, though. Ryan Mantis versus Caden Pierre, and a winner takes the Prime Contender Trophy for any shot at the title anytime. Ryan Mantis won it, but Caden Perry said that he deserves it, and he should be the real Prime Contender. Also, the 3-way death match. You don't want to miss that, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Saturday, March 25th, live pro wrestling at HWA Live 217 Gilkey School Road, Rutherford, North Carolina. Doors open 6:30, bell time 7:30, $10 at the door. You don't want to miss any of the great action out at HWA Live. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick, Kingdom Championship Wrestling without a doubt, I'll show it one more time. There you go, March 19th. You don't want to miss it, ladies and gentlemen. Pause the video right here when you're watching it. Get down all the information. Head on out to Georgia. It's going to be at the Austin Theater, 126 East Main Street, Fort Valley, Georgia, 31030. $10 at the front door, $5 general admission. Doors open at 5. For info, call 470-512-3175. Children under 5 are free. The show starts at 6 p.m. You don't want to miss it, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a little bit of pizzazz in my presentation, Dominic. Not as good as you, but I try.
I've seen a lot.
You had me entertained.
We could do.
There you go, man. All right. Well, Dominic and Nick, it was a pleasure having you on #Truth. Dominic and Nick both. In the future, I'd like to have you back on, Nick. As soon as you get a few more shows under your belt, man, you get a whole plethora of champions to talk about. I'd love to have you back on talking. And Dominic, brother, I know it ain't going to be too much longer. We're going to be talking about you in AEW or WWE.
Oh, man.
I can't wait either. After all this I've seen and all these name drops, man, I know it's going to happen. So without a doubt, man, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much. This is Dominic Stuckey, and we appreciate you for watching Disney Channel.
There you go. Man. All right, I'm going to end it like this, guys. #Truth. You guys know you're watching it here on Facebook Live. Some are watching it on YouTube, but I'm really trying to build up my YouTube show, so we're going to end the show like this. #Truth. Don't forget to go over there and hit it on YouTube. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you know every time we come on live. Most of my shows are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching #Truth, and we will see you at the next appropriate time. Have a great night.